that much.
All right, we're going live again. I have no idea what happened. Guys, we're back on YouTube. Zoom never cut the feed, so I blame YouTube. I blame Google.
And
we're live again? We're live right now.
Make sure I get where we want.
And
I think we're going to have people coming back in, and they're going to be watching recording as well. So why don't we just kick right into it? We were talking Tesla, we were talking markets, we're talking about how things just keep going, and then we lost our feed, but we do get it back. Technical difficulties happen even in 2020. Mark, we run into 2 or 3 just this morning. It's the nature of it, right?
I'm so tired of technical difficulties because I feel like an old man just looking at me like I'm totally helpless at the mercy of others.
One of my most frustrating things on the planet is when I call my cable company because my Wi-Fi went out and they send me to some robot computer that says, have you reset your router? And I'm just like, I just want to smash my phone. I hate that. I'm with you, Mark. I'm feeling old that way. I do not like to troubleshoot new things. It's not my favorite, but we're going to end up sounding like old men. Let's not do that today. Let's get back to market analysis.
But
here.
It's Cody, what I do best.
It's true. You do have a talent.
The thing I do best in life is sound like a grumpy old man. We all got our skill set. That's what I do.
Hey, Bad Boys 3 is coming out this week. We got to drive. Let's roll. Dow, S&P, NASDAQ, and Russell.
Bad
Markets
Boys 3,
are bullish.
what are they? Are they walking around in canes? Like, how are they going to do their police chase? Like, Bad Boys 3, the geriatric version.
Now you're messing with Emily. She's not going to forgive you. It's her favorite movie.
I'll let you know on Friday when I go see it.
Yeah. Listen, Bad Boys 3, here's the plot line. They go to the buffet early so that they can, got to get that senior discount.
Hey, nothing wrong with it.
First dibs at the donuts when they come out hot, right?
Hey, I turned 50 in 1 year. I start applying for all kinds of senior discounts very, very soon.
Absolutely.
All right, I'll stop hijacking your show. Get back to work.
No, dude. I mean, listen, if we want to talk about when you qualify for AARP, I'm willing to hijack this show as long as we need to. I had no problem with that. But let's get down to business. Dow, S&P, NASDAQ, Russell. I see nothing there, but I do want to take a quick peek at the rut. Just and talk about this resistance point. Guys, you got a little breakout here developing, a little, pullback pivot, rally off of that news last week. Now we've come up into resistance. Out of all 4 of the major indexes, it's the one that you might call a new entry point here soon. Emily, what are you seeing in the rut? I know you trade condors, neutral stuff on this one. What are you seeing in this chart right now?
I'm seeing what you're seeing is, a potential breakout there. What are they? I guess our January's expire this Friday. We're going to be putting on our March, I guess, in a week or so. But, it's just business as usual. You just have to know what to do, put your trades on, know how to manage it. It's breaking out. So if you've got your, I guess, Febs on, and I don't know what your strike prices are at this point, but maybe start thinking about what you should do in terms of hedging. But at this point, it's just looking to break out. I'm not that concerned about it.
The March is in the window right now. You could probably put it on today, 64 days out. Yeah. I'm sure Coach Tyler will be talking about that. The exact timing of when you put that on, that 65-day mark is always a good spot. I'll go as much as 75, Emily, and even as shorten it down if I have to for an entry point. Cody, I know you trade the rut as well. It's a system that you like. Here, would you put on one side, not the other? Would you put on both of them? How would you approach it?
I would put on one side. I put on the lower leg, and with the condor system, what I actually do is I look for some form of a flag or a base or a pullback when I try to put them on, especially if we have this big movement, and I alter it based on difference of like when this was happening, it was just in that range. I would sell.
Well, we got monthly expirations this week. I mean, here we are. Like Emily, you're a condor trader. I know this. What's your bear call for the month of January?
Oh, what is my bear call?
I mean, you're not being threatened with it, right?
No, not at all. Not at all. It's probably like in the 1740, 1750.
All right. So, you're safe this month. And a lot of people, the price action the last couple of weeks, once again, saved a lot of individuals on their condor trade. It's like, didn't cause any stress. So little breakout today. Most individuals aren't going to be threatened.
Yeah. The
but have you placed your February one yet?
No, I have not yet.
Yeah, and that's why I'm bringing this up is like for those individuals that are new or don't know, we have a cash flow condor system. In fact, Tyler's teaching the mastermind group tonight, and they're going to be discussing probably in depth, what do we do today for that next trade? So we've been good. Condor system has killed it for the last year. I mean, have you had a losing trade since last January on that, Emily?
No, I think November was cutting it close, but no, it's been fine. Maybe November or December was cutting it close, but no, it's fine for me.
But
all year long.
This is a really interesting thing because like heading into when you would put that February trade on, you got a little breakout here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, do you wait? I mean, what do you wait for? Because I'm with Cody. I wouldn't place the upper end of that Condors trade while you're getting a technical breakout. But when do you? I mean, it'd be a fascinating discussion tonight.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, here's the thing. If you go back and you look at 1,000 decision-making points, the way that I evaluate whether or not I should or shouldn't do something is if I think that it's going to give me an advantage over 1,000 decision-making points or even more, that statistical edge. Is this a strong enough breakout to say you shouldn't add a bear call? I'm not sure. I mean, the volatility is being lower. The bigger concern I have, quite frankly, it's not just the breakout. It's that you also have such a low VIX right now. You can't get a lot of cushion. Emily, you mentioned 1740 in January. Even if you go out to the March contract right now, I mean, guys, you're going to be up in the 1800s somewhere.
That's what I just drew on the chart. I just checked it out. Yeah, the 10 delta going out is 1790, and then you beat a point spread in that system by 1800.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would prefer if we do get the breakout to then be able to get my upper leg above 1800.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be below it by 10 and have 1800 be my second leg. I'd rather it be above 1800. So I would prefer a breakout. If this thing gets to 1700, which is, I mean, right in a stone's throw away, then we should be able to get something above 1800, which would make me feel more comfortable.
Well, and you guys were talking mindset in the coaches show last night, Mark, and it's something I think we could talk about every day and provide value, quite frankly, because mindset's everything. I want to share one of my mindsets about cash flow right now, and type this in the chat for me if you're team tackle. Cushion over credit. Okay. So if the 10 delta, Cody, is at 1790 and I can still get a credit up at 1810, I'm going to 1810. Same thing with naked puts, by the way. Same thing with credit trading in general. If you're a cash flow trader, I think one of the mistakes I see beginners, I made it a lot in my career as well, they make is they want to chase the credit, Emily. They want to make that 10% instead of accept a 5% or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Yep. And it ends up changing the nature of the trade. So cushion over credit, it's a mindset thing. Emily, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I completely agree with it. I mean, think about when you learn these concepts and when you learn the strategies and systems, and when you're first introduced to it, if the rule says, you want to pick up 50 cents on either side, so a minimum $1 credit, and you're excited about that when it's first introduced to you, why get greedy and try to, get more? Go for what the bare minimum is and give yourself that cushion. I'd much rather have the cushion than the cash flow because I'm a lazy trader now. I don't want to have to do any management if I don't have to. So I'll take the minimum, credit that's required in the system rather than try to chase and get more credit.
Yeah, I'm with you. And Cody, I think you nailed it right there. By going up to the 1810, you aren't right at that 10 delta. In fact, you're probably at a 6 delta. So you're getting a higher probability. You can still pick up, probably 50 cents even on the midpoint offer. I'm not saying you got to add the bear call or not. A technical breakout, Mark, you would never play a bear call on a technical breakout. That would literally just like violate every one of your rules, right? You'd say, no, thank you. Right. So I get it, but
I would be less polite than
that. I'm with you. Let's move on. We'll be talking about cash flow condors tonight in the mastermind group. Go ahead, Cody.
Here's something I really like is the probability cones. So purple one is 68%. The gray one is 90%. Mm-hmm. Being able to get above 1810, you have a 90% probability that it finishes within that cone within that time frame. Mm-hmm. So that's also only a month out, though. We're selling March. That 90% probability puts you up above almost 1850.
Are you laughing at Jimbo, Emily?
Yes, I'm cracking up at Jimbo. He's supposed to protect your chickens.
I was going to breeze over it. I wasn't even going to mention it. But
can't ignore that.
Jimbo does make me laugh. He is a funny man. There's no doubt about it. But I'm going to pass. I'm going to pass on that one.
I punted on that one. just completely avoided it.
Oh, yeah, I do like probability cones, Cody. How you use them, though, I mean, I think people can end up taking this way too far. They might look at that and say, well, I've got to be up at 1860. Not necessarily. I think you got to have
have to be that far.
Combination of delta charting, probability cones, probability assessment, but also some common sense as well. You can look back and see how far something is moved. After trading a system for years, Emily, you start to get a feel for what you need, don't you? I mean, you know just instinctively that you need a certain amount of cushion to put a trade on.
Yep, absolutely. And when you do it long enough, it just becomes like brushing your teeth. It's every month you got to put on a condor. You know exactly when our monthly webinars are. The longer you trade systems, the I don't want to say the easier it becomes, but the less complicated it becomes. You just start to understand the mechanics of different things and how they work, and it really just sets the tone for you to just really make trading something that you just make part of your life. And these systems are just great that we have these,
But please brush your teeth more than once a month.
Fair point. Very good.
Yeah.
All right.
Public service announcement. Please brush your teeth more than once a month.
No, it's a public service request, young man.
No. Sure. You need to. Everyone would appreciate it.
For sure. Let's go through all of the other markets real quick here. Dollar's pivoting, Cody. In fact, one of the better technical setups in the market is US dollar on that bear retracement now selling off. The candle looks clearer than the percentage. It's only down about 0.2%. But if you were a short seller on the dollar, it's exactly what you're looking for. There's no question about it. All kinds of cross pairs in play. Cody, give me a quick read on this one.
I see the exact technical signal you're looking for. The immediate thing that I did is start scanning the cross pairs to see which of them is moving. So the euro's got some movement on it because of it. British pound's got next to nothing. Canadian dollar this morning hadn't triggered, but now it's looking like if you wanted an aggressive trigger, you could have taken it below yesterday's low. Matt and I talked about that trade. Looks really good. Most of the movement's actually coming from the Swiss franc, though. That's where most of the movement in the dollar is coming from. Is the Swiss franc has a lot of movement on it today. Big breakdown. Go out to the weekly on the Swiss franc. That could drop quite a bit. So that's the main one that caught my eye. Some of the other ones we talked about were the New Zealand dollar. That's the weekly. It's getting a little deep for my liking, to be honest. And that's my take on all the cross pairs is that, something's moving the US dollar. What is it? And it looks like it's a mix between the euro, the CAD, and the Swiss franc is what's moving the dollar right now.
Yeah, the euro dollar cross pair is one of my favorite to trade just because of the liquidity. I mean, you're talking about a 1 pip spread. If you are going to trade Forex, being liquid is a very important factor in my opinion. Let's move on to commodities here real quick. Crude oil slowing momentum. Inventories data came out today. I'm not touching this one until it shows me strength. I had definitely one of those educational moments where my brothers both slapped me around in the last week, Emily, and said, hey, do not play without price confirmation. We do not have price confirmation yet, Mark. A little slowing momentum on the candlestick. Are you interested if you got that price confirmation on something bullish here?
Go to the hourly chart. Once again, it's funny how that 50 that I have been talking about for days, look how it's almost like I know what I'm talking about. I brought up that 50 period moving average because I know this situation. I've seen this situation. What has happened every time that has come up to the 50 hourly?
It bangs its head, cannot get higher.
Because this is what I expected to play out. So once that confirmation signal of a close and then confirmation in the next candle above hourly, don't expect to see a short-term rally. Now, I'm not interested. Now, if I was day trading and, it's like I wake up in the morning and I don't know if I'm going to day trade or not. It's a total mood thing. But I think it is a great day trading signal. I don't think it is a great swing trading signal. But for me, it is a potential stability. Fire that put down near the support level that exists. Like that 50 hourly in this specific situation has been the signal I'm looking for because it's a big, big, big deal.
Yeah.
And so, and for all we know, we don't get that signal for days and days.
You know, and by the way, we did have a draw in supply this week, and they expected a slight build, but they did have a 2.5 million barrel per day draw. That inventories data point, I treat it as a news event, volatility event. I don't read too much in the weekly fundamentals of it because it's more of a trend over time. Watch that 50 period hourly on that chart for sure. It's obvious this one, it keeps banging its head, banging its head, banging its head. That would be a good confirmation point if it could break back above it.
And once again, I don't think that's a great swing trading signal.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the signal I'm looking for that you might get price stability to justify for me the selling of that put at a lower level. So.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Gold and silver metals pullback. By the way, we were talking about platinum yesterday. It broke out like crazy. Coach Matt had a real good call on that. Gold, silver in the metals market looking decent here today. You know, gold is up 0.6%. Silver's got a nice candle. I wouldn't call this confirmation. This is a weird little flag pullback here. It's not real deep into clear old resistance. It hasn't confirmed. You got the funky tail. This goes back to a philosophy that we've shared on the halftime report. I believe you concur with, Mark, and you agree with. This chart's so much easier on a weekly candle. You know, daily candlestick charts on gold are just a little noisy. On the weekly, you just see upward movement over time, and that pullback isn't so stark in some huge pattern, right? I did love that flag breakout on the weekly as well, Cody. Mark, what you read on the metals markets right now?
It's tough because the fundamentals, it's the same speech. You know, if you've heard me give this speech, then it's going to be really boring for you. Firing those puts down at lower levels. I mean, you have a nice support area, you know, around what, 14, my eyes are getting low, 1460-ish area.
Mm-hmm.
You know, firing puts at low levels. That pattern concerns me for downward movement. And whenever you reduce a short-term catalyst, once again, gold got a little spike on the war fears last week. You remove that takes out some of the steam. It just takes out some of the steam. So while broad fundamentals are decent, I mean, a little slide back into this general price area that we've been in for what now, 7 months, is not unwarranted. Is not unwarranted. Would not be shocking at all. Now, if you break to the upside of that downward channel, that could be a nice swing trading opportunity. But, you know, you definitely need to break that short-term channel that Tim has correctly identified on the chart.
You know, yesterday I asked you the question, Mark, how many times I'm going to make this statement. Palladium hits a new all-time high. The over-under was 30. You went under. There's one, and I got the whole year to go. Palladium is incredible. I don't know how else to say it. This thing is parabolic. It is a juggernaut. It is not the kind of thing you chase, Mark, and I completely understand why. That's a tough chart to trade. I've missed out on this whole thing. You know, you asked me the other day, what's out of the 4 fears, which one is mine? It's the FOMO for sure, because of my greed. You know, we all have emotions. And I've missed this Palladium trade again.
You've never seen a donut where you worry that there would never be another donut for you to eat in your grass. You see that donut, you're like, that might be the last donut.
Gotta eat that donut.
I gotta eat that donut. There might not be any other donuts. That donut I need to eat, or I just, yeah. So,
dude, now I'm in the mood for donuts.
Hit by a truck. You don't want to miss out on your last donut.
Oh, now I'm in the mood for donuts. Anyway, bear claw. I'm going to go get me a bear claw for lunch. That sounds delicious, actually. Palladium continuing to hit an
lunch.
Just beautiful. Why not? Platinum broke out of 1,000. I got to tell you, from a technical perspective, obviously Palladium's already been going up for a month and a half. Platinum just broke out of a resistance point, guys, and a key level at 1,000. This is a significant break. I think it's
go back. Put this on a 3-year weekly. It's a break, but what are you running into? What are you running into right now? I mean, this is why, like, most people have their settings on like a 6-month or a 1-year daily.
Mm-hmm.
Always look back a little bit in time, because all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, that is a really clear resistance area. Now, if you clear this, you got nothing but open skies to the upside. But I mean, do be aware that you are at a triple top formation at that resistance level. So, I mean, it's got some steam, got some momentum. And if it breaks free from here, goodness gracious, who knows where it might stop. So there might be great opportunity just where you be aware of where you're at on the chart today.
Sure. And that's the thing about the trickiness of a swing trade. Sometimes platinum, if you bought it at 10,000, you're already happy today. You've made $25 a share, or an ounce or whatever it is. And you could even target 1050 as a swing trade, but you already missed half of your potential reward at this point. Got to catch those triggers on day trades and swing trades clean. You just have to. I do want to talk about Bitcoin today. And we don't talk about it every day, but definitely, man, it's looking pretty good here, guys. Introducing options earlier in the week. I don't know what the significance for it is forever, but it's showing me something. It's breaking that falling trend line. It's getting back above some key moving averages. Now, anything below 10K, I can't really call a bullish marker. But wouldn't you move this, if you're just reading the chart, from bearish to neutral, at least on this price action?
I mean, breaks of like key trend lines are significant. They're big deals.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are very strong short-term bullish signals. There's just no doubt about it. And that is the extent of any analysis I'm going to do on Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
So
it hurts your brain.
I feel dirty. Like I've already showered today, and I need to go take a second shower after that. Ew. I regret that decision already.
Oh, goodness. Listen, I'm still interested, obviously, in the crypto markets and all those kind of things. I'm stubborn with this one. I've been stubborn with this one now for 7 years. So I don't know if that's going to change anytime soon.
Because in the back of your head, you're like, Bitcoin could go to 100,000, and I'm not going to miss out on that donut.
It's not even just that. I've got a lot of reasons why I'm stubborn about this one. But yeah, I still... We'll punt on that for a podcast. I need Matt here to truly be able to tear me down in all of my beliefs in the cryptocurrency markets. All you guys picking on me, and yet I still stay feet in the ground, Cody, like a defensive tackle, just standing strong, just against these crypto bullies. There's no doubt about it. Cody, what do you think of crypto markets?
I haven't touched them since my honeymoon.
Emily?
Not in them.
I'm the lone wolf now. It makes me so happy.
I mean,
I'm the only person.
I do have the cool story, which I mean, I'm always happy to share, is that I did pay for my honeymoon using Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And it was, it doesn't even go back this far on this chart, but it was 4 years ago or so when it was at $400.
$200, $300, $400. Yep.
Yeah. It was around that area. And I had listened to a podcast, and you and Matt were talking about it back when Matt was still, pro crypto. And he said, guys, this blockchain technology could be something. And if you're not sure what it is, and you don't want to take any great risk, he's like, just go buy one.
Yep.
So I went and bought one Bitcoin and 40 Ethereum, and I got the Ethereum at $10.
Mm-hmm.
And when it spiked, it happened to spike a month before my wedding. Sold it all, paid for my honeymoon with it. 2 weeks in New Zealand, and it was well worth it. Best way to trade your way to a happy vacation.
Dude, that's awesome. That's a really cool story. And that is really when that pop happened. Ethereum at 10, it went to 200-300 before people could blink. And then that big bubble that next year was when it was up in the 1200 mark there for a brief moment, and Bitcoin hit 20K. And that's why it's got such just a very distorted history. I mean, depending on when you participated in this storyline, Emily, you have your own beliefs about crypto. And we all bring those personal perspectives in. You got to shed it. Just look at the chart. The chart is showing me something here. Right now, there's no question in my mind.
There's a reason why you're on Max Loss's list to come get you, because
on his list.
I was going to bring this up, Mark. Jonathan in the chat says, Tim, make sure Max Loss doesn't creep up on you here. I can see Max Loss, making fun of my Bitcoin opinions. There's no doubt about it. We'll get it another time. Let's talk about some.
Max Loss has everyone who over position sides on his hit list.
Yeah.
He's watching all of you.
Let's run through some of these bank earnings, guys. Goldman Sachs, let's start with here. One of the biggest investment banks in the world. They came out, they beat revenue estimates, but their shares really aren't doing much here. But this after a huge run. I wouldn't read too much into that. I actually think that's a pretty good reaction to the initial gap down, battling all the way back into that green candle. Bank of America down 2.5%. They did have an earnings beat as well, but It brought it back into support, still above all these moving averages. I would not start calling something bearish just because it's down 2% on earnings. Target, though, this one is a little different.
One this week. One this week.
Mark, this is troubling for me. Here's another company that we have on our watch list, a company that I've traded many times, and I really like the company's fundamentals. They came out and just randomly said, hey, we're going to project down on our earnings because of disappointing sales in December, and we want to let you know in advance of that. These random storylines where these companies come out and pre-announce, it's not fun, is it?
It is probably the most annoying thing to enter the world of technical analysis in my trading lifetime. Because we make so many of our decisions based on formations, on technical setups, we're aware that news can get us at any given time. We're aware of earnings. We develop strategies around them. But for this disturbing trend of companies to report numbers ahead of earnings, this big date where investors can plan around, is I absolutely hate it. What it makes me do is it makes me want to investigate trends. And companies that do this, I am less likely to trade Target in the 4 weeks before earnings.
Yeah.
Because they've shown the not only ability, but the actual doing it. I mean, so yeah, I don't like it at all. Right now, you got to kind of chalk it up as the cost of doing business.
I get that. I mean, the lesson is always going to be position sizing when these news stories come up. I did write it down on my list of things I want to backtest, though, Mark, because I have a premise and I have no data yet, so I'm not going to throw out any conclusions. But I remember many of these companies that pre-report like this that come out, if they'll go back up and confirm, they end up into beautiful uptrends. I mean, I was thinking of Apple last year. I was thinking about many companies. So I don't know what the end impact is. And it might just be because the market was so bullish, though, in the last few years when I was thinking about this. But have you noticed any correlation to what happens after these big gaps?
I mean, you got to treat it like an earnings report.
Mm-hmm.
Because some pre-earning announcements are going to spook and are going to contain more fearful information than others.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to treat this situation like you would any gap based on news, any gap based on earnings. Have a plan, a strategy on how you trade those situations. And if you're not comfortable, just stay away.
Yeah.
I mean, for this, you have an old resistance level where the last breakout occurred on earnings, around 112, 113, 115.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing how price action, seeing if support forms at this level is going to be really, really critical.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be really critical.
Yep. Let's keep moving through some of these companies. BlackRock Financial, which we talked about so much yesterday with Larry Fink's, commentary in his annual report. Very interesting what they're doing with environmental issues and how they're going to expand their assets to $1 trillion over the next 10 years in those ESG type companies. Came out with earnings, actually look pretty good. They're still in an uptrend. Shake Shack, actually, they say at some conference here today, SHAK, Cody.
SHAK.
Mm-hmm. This is an interesting one. This was an ugly chart. I mean, we're talking about a parabolic uptrend that went into a crashing downtrend sitting on a low base support. A breakdown would have been tradable if you're just a technician. They came out and said they're going to expand into Singapore, put Shake Shacks in Singapore, China, and Mexico over the next couple of years. Market likes it. They like the idea of expansion here. I know that, Cody, have you eaten at Shake Shack? Do you know this burger?
No, I can't say I do.
If I said Whataburger,
I immediately thought Steak and Shake, but that's different.
No, this place is pretty good. They're very, very popular in Chicago, New York, many major cities. They actually just released one in Utah. Look for expansion in this kind of chain. And you can see some of these types of companies fly when they get moving. I'm going to add it to a volatility watch list. I don't think there's a trade in the short term. And outside of that, guys, I mean, a lot of the tech stocks are grabbing my attention here. Amazon, Facebook, Netflix, Apple, Alphabet, they're getting high volumes like they always do. Let's start with Netflix here, Cody. I do like the pullback on Amazon. Netflix approaching earnings, had a pretty nice run. Apple continues to be up or near all-time highs. Markets seem to be just resilient through all of this here today, guys. Bank earnings were obviously grabbing my attention. It brings that financial sector down a little bit, but tech stays strong. Consumer goods stay strong. Healthcare is a juggernaut. UNH had their earnings today, Cody, and they're up 3% as well. Big Dow component. Guys, I'm going through all the news and the market's just pretty strong, Mark. I mean, it really is. It's resilient. You get pockets of weakness, but you get all these different storylines and market keeps chugging along. Yeah. Cody, anything to add to that?
I like the potential breakout of 300 on UNH.
Dude, if that broke above 300, that is a very, very good technical trigger.
That is just a really nice setup.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful potential pattern occurring at a nice hold number. I mean, you have short-term trend, you got a technical setup, you got a catalyst above 300. It's not too shabby. When's earnings on UNH?
It just happened. So now you got a post-earnings trade. So it happened this morning, and that's a reaction to the earnings. Now you got a post-earnings trade.
This is pretty. I won't lie. From just a technical, I mean, who doesn't like earnings and positive momentum heading into this type of setup? This is a really, really nice setup.
Dude, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Once again, there's never any guarantees. Things can go wrong for a million reasons. But from a trading standpoint, from a technical analysis standpoint, adding in sentiment, adding in the earnings just happened, boy, it's pretty nice.
It's one of the reasons why I love trading earnings and also tracking all of the earnings, because you have to learn how to build watch list and start to plan trades through the earnings season. I've heard this comment many, many times over the years from beginning traders, Mark. Earnings season drives me crazy because I can't find any trades. Everything's disqualified, right? But then if you're going through and those post-earnings setups and you learn how to trade off of them, now you've got 3 months before UNH has another earnings report, which puts it squarely on a bullish watch list. I do like that from a planning perspective. Somebody who's, very much a planner, I do appreciate that. Guys, we didn't play rapid fire yesterday. Let's play it today. Cody, you good with that?
Tim, go ahead and set it up then.
Yeah. All right. We're looking at charts. We've looked through some that I'm interested in. We've looked through some of the commodities. We looked at the rut. What do you guys want us to analyze for you here today? If you're in the chat right now, if you're in our team, if you come here and you watch our show, you know what rapid fire is. You put a symbol in, I pitch it to one of the coaches, and they give you quick, fast fire analysis. We're going to start with ICE here. Cody, you brought it up. You go first.
All right. ICE definitely has earnings coming up, but it looks like it's about 3 weeks away. So if it does move before then, it could be a clean trade. Obviously, it's got a nice base forming that it's looking to break today. I want to see it close. I'm never the first jumper when it comes to a break. I want to see it break, and then I typically will put my entry above the next day's high. Or if I get a breakout pullback, then I'll look to enter at the high above the doji candle on the pullback. Then you can probably target this thing up to 100.
Mm-hmm. CCI, Carnival Cruise Lines. Mark, I'm going to go with you next. Mark, are you a cruise goer? Hop on in Alaska?
I actually really enjoy the water. Yeah. So I don't go on a lot of cruises, but I am definitely the cruise demographic.
They got a casino. They got all the food.
They got food because I love the water. They got gambling. A lot of them. They got the food. It's relaxed. So yeah, I'm a cruise kind of guy.
Yeah. Pretty clean chart.
I don't think Crown Castle is a cruise.
I was thinking of Carnival Cruise Lines.
You were.
Crown Castle. Well, maybe I just want to go on a cruise. Maybe I'm projecting something here.
Yeah, this has
nothing to do with cruise.
This has absolutely zero to do with cruises.
What is Carnival? Is it CCL? Carnival.
It is CCL.
So
Crown Castle, if I remember right, might be a REIT.
Looking good.
Buy
the REIT, make some money, and use that money to go on a cruise. So, how about that? Wow. Oh, Mark's just shaking his head at me right now.
Yeah, there's my rapid fire. My brother's an idiot.
Oh, breakout there would be pretty nice. I actually, I was looking at the defensive sectors. It does bring up a conversation I was thinking about today. XLU is looking great, and I think XLRE is going to be a target again this year at some point, Mark. I like those defensive sectors that have been underperforming maybe for a couple months. XLU just broke out.
Yeah,
So
that's got some, yeah.
Yeah.
This is technical analysis in motion again. You got clear, defined resistance levels.
Mm-hmm.
Break. I mean, you haven't had many candles in the last year this big.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a coincidence that it occurs on a day after a clear resistance level gets breached. This is traders in. This is day traders in. This is algorithms in. This is proof of technical analysis that it works, that it's real, that it's not some abstract hocus pocus thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because you have candles like this when there's great trading signals.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to learn about technical analysis, email me at Team of Tackle Trading. I'll get you set up with a trial. Technical analysis can be the guiding force in your trading, in your investing. And when you look back 10, 20, 25, 30 years from now and see the size of your account, you get a little I heart technical analysis. You'll go total geek.
Yeah. Emily, it's what you were talking about earlier. Just I'll read the chart. I don't care about the news. Give me the chart, give me the picture, tell me where it is. Back on CCI for 1 second. It does have a potential breakout coming up. But if I'm looking at a read, I might go to the option report. American Tower was on the option report this week, and actually the AMT chart, in my opinion, is probably a little bit cleaner from a swing trade perspective. It already did break out. You could have caught that on Monday when it happened, but you can take your pick in that sector. Let's keep moving through here. Emily, Dropbox, DBX.
Okay. Ooh. All right. It's sitting right at that moving average. I would wait for a close above that candle. You've got overhead resistance at 21. So, earnings is coming up. It's far enough that you can still get a swing trade out of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. These data companies, they've been tricky. And obviously these IPOs in the last couple of years have been tricky, but at some point I will like a Dropbox bullish call. I don't know if it's here at 19 or if I needed to go above 21, Mark, probably 21 for me.
I hate this company. I just, storage is one of those areas that you're just telling me that you're 100% convinced that in 10 years, somebody hasn't come along with some free version of Dropbox as part of their thing. I mean, where's the long-term, yes, this is going to be around sustainability.
Yeah. Well, the SaaS model I believe in. First of all, they do have a good free version. The reason, you end up paying is because you end up getting tied into a product. You've got all your files there and you've got too many of them. It's kind of like with Google. You end up upgrading into Google at some point because you're like, I can't go back and delete all my old emails and all my old Google Drive files.
And as time goes on, I expect that level of storage will be available
somewhere else,
free, through other people. I think that's the natural evolution.
Apple's even
of this
doing it
area.
now.
Yeah.
Every day, Apple's like, you failed to back up because you have too many files. You can upgrade to this plan or this plan or this plan and pay us more.
And stop being hoarders, people. You don't need, seriously, stop being file hoarders.
You don't need your college paper from 2004.
I was like, hey, I don't know. I might need to reference, the War of 1812 and my
God. I
insight
had to convince my wife to throw away some of her books from undergrad. I was like, honey, you're never going to look at these again.
That is such a good rant.
Go through and purge. Just have a gigantic purge.
You'll feel so much better afterwards. I agree with Mark here. Purge all that crap that you don't need.
Yeah.
That email that was sent to you by an ex-girlfriend 17 years ago that you just like to reference and cry and cuddle up in the fetal position reading because you remember that moment of happiness. Purge. Your college papers. Purge. Those million pictures that you think are just the aesthetic, and hey, I just have to have that picture of that purple flower to go along with my 7,000 other pictures of flowers. Guess what? Purge.
File storage is the modern hoarding.
It's the new hoarding.
Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, I'm bringing this back in.
GE. GE, I've been open-minded to what this company is doing. I'm not there yet. It's got earnings coming up. I don't know what Trump said about it. I have to go look at it. Twillo is next, TWLO. And Lewis, good call on that. I'll go look into what the president did say about this. I like this company. It's a good watch list company. It's a good tradable company. You can see back last year when it was in an uptrend, nice swing trading pivots. We had this on the option report many times when it was bullish and when it was bearish. So for me right now, it's a watch list. It's something you could look at. I know it broke out of 120, but you had to run from 95 to get to 120 before it broke out here. And now you still got old noise left of the chart. For me, personal opinion here, I would understand why somebody would take it. I would pass. Facebook, let's go on to Emily next. Emily, you are my Facebook girl. Anyway, what do you think here on Facebook?
Oh, goodness. Uptrend. It's kind of like, starting to form a high base over there. So I would wait for a break above whatever that 222 is. You've got earnings coming up, so keep an eye on that. I'll probably wait and get something after earnings.
Okay, Cody, I'm giving you 4 in a row. Real quick ones. JP Morgan. One sentence.
Take my mic off in order to do that. JP
No problem.
Morgan. All right, now I just got to type in the chat or in the thing out the chat. JP Morgan just had earnings, looking for a break. Looks like it potentially tried to break 40 about 2 weeks ago. So It's down today. I got to see a break of 140 before I do anything. It's still on the uptrend. What else you got?
FLXN. Got about 2-3 minutes here. We're going to rapid fire through a bunch of these. Ooh, that's an interesting.
Looks like it's possibly reversing. Look for a breakdown below $18. That's not a line. That's a circle. But
I instantly look at something like that and I'm like, it's too much work. And Mark, I don't know if I'm. There's just take the easy trades, take the low hanging fruit. When I see a volume gap out to the upside and some weird funky head and shoulders pattern developing, and I'm like, there's probably either easier trades for me personally. WWE next, Cody.
WWE has been losing a lot with their branding. They got earnings coming up as well. So got to take a look at that one. Started to fill that gap. We'll see if it breaks down again after that. Look for a trigger below 60, but potentially after earnings. I don't know if it's going to break that before earnings.
I think that was on the option report this week. For me, from here, if I'm looking at that, it's got to go below 60. I'm going to take the next 2, OGI. Gap out on earnings, reversal characteristics there. It moved about 45%. It's a $3 stock. I don't trade companies less than $5. That's one of my rules, Mark. These little stocks. Do you ever play them at all?
I don't.
Yeah.
No.
Roku.
Don't have FOMO. Don't try to buy something just because it's so cheap. Don't do it.
What is Trevor Noah? He has a segment where he's like, "Ain't nobody got time for that." That's how I feel about stocks under $10. Really, hey, ain't nobody got time for that.
They're under $10 for a reason. They're penny stocks.
Listen, there are people out there that specialize in penny stocks and low price stocks, and that's where they dig and they look for fundamental, all that. I get that, but
they're not first year traders though. They're not newbies.
No, they're not newbies, and I just don't got time for that.
Those people have stacks of paper that stack like the Himalayas in their office.
Scott has a really good point, by the way, on the data storage. He says, you're thinking about it from an individual basis. Corporations and healthcare companies are required to hold data for 21 years. I'd have to think about that, Scott. It's a good point. Something to noodle through on those data storage companies.
Scott, take your logic.
Don't confuse us with the facts.
Yeah,
Scott.
like I was just going on a funny rant. Take your logic. Your analysis.
It also depends on the healthcare field you're in, Scott. Because our lab only has to hold records for 8 years.
But I would be interested in what services they use because I don't know that. Maybe they use Dropbox. Maybe they corporate. Maybe Dropbox's corporate business is like 88% of it.
They're specialized LIS systems that are built just for healthcare sectors, and those companies, for a monthly service, you're paying 4 figures to 5 figures a month for those kind of services.
Yeah,
they also have to be encrypted for HIPAA reasons. so that there's no chance of it ever being hacked or leaked for personal healthcare information.
It is an interesting call, though. I mean, how much of the business is individual storage versus corporate storage versus
I would want to know
government
that. Yeah, I
storage?
mean,
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I don't have an answer to it right now. I do have a statement, though. Emily, you get the last three, and then I want you to also promote your women in trading. I do not want to forget that. So I'm going to give you Verizon, actually. We're going to skip Roku. Roku's neutral. If you know how to trade a bi-directional trade, it's qualified candidate on Roku. A debit condor, Coach Gino has talked about that a lot over the years. That's an actual candidate there. Verizon here from Blake, Emily.
Ooh, downtrend. It's sitting at that support base. If you're trading it bearish, wait for that breakdown below. What's that?
58.75.
But you've got earnings coming up. Again, we're going to keep talking about earnings. So watch out for earnings.
Watch out for earnings. And by the way, quick pro tip, set your chart settings so you've got that space on the right that Cody does, so you can always look for it and actually find the earnings. If you're a Thinkorswim user, that's should be an automatic.
Here's how you do it, guys. Down here, this little box right there with the two arrows, you click it and you say change right expansion settings, and then you say how many days you want. I got 45, but I can say I want 100 days to the right. Apply. Chart adds 100 different trading days to the right. So right there, click that. Adjust it. There's your teaching moment for the day.
Awesome. And two last ones for you, Emily. AMD and Zoom, two popular stocks. AMD's breakout up there, Mark. We talked about this one a lot. If it does break 50, that's pretty clean. Emily, what's your read?
Same thing. I mean, we love doing naked puts on AMD, so cash flow as usual. Nothing much to say about that.
It is a beautiful setup. It is a different version of UNH's setup. The similarities of a high base forming at a clear significant number. I mean, it's a pretty setup developing.
Yep. I like it up there as well. Definitely. I don't know if I liked this one better than UNH though. Now that we're post earnings, I actually think if you had to
UNH
put me down to it, I like.
First of all, UNH is that setup is just really, really, really good.
Above 300 is good confirmation for sure. Yeah, all that should be on a watch list. And Zoom, last one here. All right, Cody. Ooh.
Nice potential breakout candle today. So I like Zoom. Earnings is far out enough that you can do a swing trade out of this. Watch out for overhead resistance up there, but I like Zoom.
Will you give me weekly candlesticks? I just want to see one thing.
So you can see 1 year?
No, I want moving average. Will you throw me a 20 weekly moving average and a 50 weekly moving average? I don't know if there's a 50 yet, but there should be a 20.
Yeah.
Because that setup, it's already going to be, I've cleared the 9. I already know that. Give me make that a 20. I don't know if it doesn't have 50 weeks of price action yet, does it?
If it's got a full year, it should.
It may be just a function of its IPO. I mean, it did IPO last year.
I mean, you look at that signal. That's what I thought. When I looked at the chart, I was pretty sure that you might have been getting additional. That thing's freaking beautiful. You got a trend line break. You got a break of horizontal resistance, and you had a close above, and then additional movement this week above the 20 weekly moving average. That is like hitting a trifecta of reversal signals. Not surprising that you're seeing upward trading. Once again, technical analysis in motion. Technical analysis is a beautiful thing. In fact, technical analysis is so beautiful. I don't know if I'll ever do this show again because it keeps me from trading. Because so this might be the last time you ever see me. So good luck, y'all. Read a chart.
Beautiful W breakout on multiple time frames. I love it. And real quick plug for Coach Frank. He said he put Twillo's chart on Tackle Trading's Twitter on January 6th. If you're a Twitter user, go follow @Tackle Trading. Love that breakout, Frank. And Emily, you get the last word, young lady. I know you're going to be teaching this week, but next week we actually have a Women in Trading webinar that you're promoting. Talk about it a little bit. When is it? How do people find it? All that kind of stuff.
It is next Friday, 8:30, January 23rd, 24th. Let me double check my calendar here. 24th, Friday, January 24th at 8:30 p.m. Ladies of Tackle, you know what we do. So I expect to see you guys there. Invite a friend. I think we'll have a link out maybe coming up Monday next week or something to share And yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys there. We're going to talk about something special. I'm cooking up something special. So we'll talk about that.
You know, by the way, I'm looking at the options report right now. I'd go review it, guys. I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4 breakouts right on that option report on the bull side that are knocking on the door that have not triggered yet. Sometimes you miss those trades because they happen early on a Monday, Tuesday. We still got a bunch of beautiful setups developing there. If you're a pro member, you already know how to access that. If you're not, there's a trial in the comments below. Come and join us for a 15-day trial over at Tackle Trading, and you can see what we do over there with all of our content on our website and with our pro community. Marky, great job today. Really enjoyed it. We had a little funkiness there from Zoom early, Cody, but we recovered, right?
Yeah, we did. I don't even know if it was Zoom because Zoom never said we lost live feed. We kept just talking because we thought we were still live. Zoom said we were live.
Don't blame Google. They're listening.
I am blaming Google.
All right. Yeah. Guys, we'll see you tomorrow.
I don't have a Google or Alexa in my house. Later, guys.
See you tomorrow.